everyone, my name is Erin and today I am bringing you a review and swatches of the new Park Avenue Princess Contour Palette from Tarte. So if you want to see review and swatches on this product, just keep watching. Okay, so as far as I knew, this palette wasn't supposed to come out for like another month. Any previews I had seen of this palette, it said like November, December, not like October, November. I want to say that this is going to be exclusive to Ulta, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I actually found it on the last day of the Ulta 20% off coupon sale, so I was able to use my 20% coupon on this. This is a contour palette. At first, when I saw pictures of it, I thought it was an eyeshadow palette, but no, it's a contour palette. I want to say right away, this is a very heavy palette. The price of the palette is $46. There are 6 powders in here and you get 4.5 grams with each powder. You can see it's very reflective, and this is just the box. You'll also know that Park Avenue Princess is the name of Tarte's iconic bronzer. You do get one of those little sheets that shows you how to contour and like what shades to use where, which I think is very nice because it has all 4 like shapes of a face. You'll have a square face, a round face, a heart face, and then a oval face. So it gives you which colors to use for those face shapes and where, which I think it's really nice. And it also says, chiseled like a diamond, own your crown, which I guess is the hashtag for this particular palette. Like I said, this palette is very heavy. And this is the packaging. It's very reflective, and Park Avenue Princess is raised. Beautiful. This is one of those types of products that like could get you just on packaging alone. And there are 6 powders in here. They are all matte. We have 2 highlight shades, and we have 4 contour shades. So like I said, there are 6 shades in here. We're gonna go through each one of these. Palette, I have used it. This is what I'm using today on my face. I have used 4 of the shades in this palette already, and I have some thoughts. So like I said, at $46, there are 6 powders in here. So that makes it a little bit over $7 per powder, which I think is really good. And the first thing I noticed when I opened this palette is the pan size. I am so thankful that the pans are arranged in the way that they are and they are as big as they are, because in some contour palettes, the shades are so small that it's really hard to get a lot of brushes in them. I myself use a Morphe R2 for bronzer all the time, and sometimes it's hard to get a brush that big into pans in a contour palette. I used my Morphe M530 to actually contour today, and they fit in here perfectly. So that was the first thing that I noticed right away with this, is the size of the pans and how easily a lot of brushes would be able to go into here without meddling them. I also want to say that with Tarte's prior contour palettes, those pans were really small and they were about the same price, so I'm interested to see the amount of product that was in those, because I think you get more bang for your buck with this one. The first shade is called Hollow, and I actually used this shade to set my eye primer today. I would consider this like a pinky toned highlight or like a white tone. This is a good shade to use to set your eye primer. This is a good shade to use under your eyes. So that is Hollow. You can see I barely touched it. These are very pigmented. Okay, so the next shade is called Enhance. This is your typical banana shade. I will say that this is not too crazy yellow, but this is a very good, again, you can use it to set your eye primer. I use it today under my eyes, and I found it very brightening and not drying. That's my favorite thing about this palette so far, that the powders are not drying and they don't cling to dry patches. So this is Enhance right here. So you can see on my hand they're pretty similar, but this one's just a little bit more pinky toned and this one's more yellow toned. Something I will say about this palette in looking at the shades and swatching them, I feel that a variety of skin tones would be able to use this palette, because you have your typical grayish contour shade, which I'll show you in a minute. You have a pretty dark shade in the last one, and you have everything in between. These powders are very pigmented, so with a light hand I think you could really do anything with them. Alright, so let's move on to Carrot. Carrot is the third one right here. I would say that this one is most similar to the gray toned powder in the Kat Von D palette that I love so much. So that is Carrot. That's a swatch of it. So like I said, for anyone who has fair to medium skin tones, that would pretty much be the one that you use to contour if you like a cool tone contour. Alright, the next one we have is called Princess Cut, and this is, I would call this neutral. I wouldn't call it gray, I wouldn't call it brown, I wouldn't call it red. I would definitely call this one neutral. When I first used this one on my face today, I thought that it was possible that this one had a sheen, but it didn't. So this one is Princess Cut. And that's what it is right there. Princess Cut, the one I just showed you, I actually used in my crease today as well. And I love palettes that like are like all-in-one things, where if you do your face first, you can just use them as crease colors or vice versa. So the next one we have is Angle. And this is the one that I actually used as an all-over bronzer. So that's the shade Angle. And that's it right there. This one has a slight red undertone. I wouldn't say it's a strong red undertone, but I would definitely say that there's a little bit of a red undertone. And the last one that we have here is called Crown. So this is Crown. See, that's pretty dark. It's with a lot of contour palettes, you don't see shades that dark. These powders are very pigmented, guys, in the sense that a little bit goes a long way. When I first dipped my brush into Carrot, which was the one I used to contour today, it was like, oh, well, let me dip my brush a little harder since it's a brand new powder. Yeah, no. It's a very pigmented palette. This is one of those contour palettes that I would suggest start with a little and then build it up. I myself like a lot of pigment, but also at times with certain products like contour products and bronzers, it's nice to build them up. I'll say this is a contour palette that I can see myself using all the shades for. It's really hard for me to find matte powders that I like to use under my eyes because a lot of them are drying, but like I said, these ones are not. And this is just a palette that I definitely see myself using. I highly recommend this palette. I'm not sure when it's going to be going on sale. The packaging is gorgeous and it's Tarte. So long story short, I think you guys should get this when you see it. I will say that this has more shades than the typical contour palettes we see, and it's a different setup. So other contour palettes you see, it's normally like the highlight shades are on top and then it's contour shades, but here we have a nice variety in row. So yeah, I highly suggest this palette. I think it's definitely worth the money. I'm gonna give you guys one more once over of it. So like I said, these are the highlight shades and all the way down to the contour shades. Alright everyone, so that's gonna do it for me for my review and swatches of the Tarte Parkave Princess Chisel palette. I want to keep on calling it a contour palette, but on the box it definitely says Chisel palette. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video. Have a great day everyone.